As tensions between Israel and Iran boil over, a familiar ghost keeps reappearing. Jeffrey Epstein. You know the story, or at least the version we were told. A billionaire predator operating a twisted empire of blackmail and power. But that was just the surface. What if Epstein was more than a trafficker? What if he was a weapon? And more importantly, what if he never died? The asset nobody saw coming. Epstein had no degree, no Fortune 500 pedigree, yet he waltzed into circles of unimaginable power. Scientists, presidents, royalty. How? His longtime associate, Ghislaine Maxwell, was the daughter of Robert Maxwell, a man with deep ties to Mossad, Israel's intelligence agency. So ask yourself, was Epstein just a lone predator with a taste for power? Or was he something else? A carefully built honey trap asset, designed to ensnare the elite. Because in the world of espionage, blackmail isn't a side hustle, it's a strategy. The blackmail web, Epstein's Island, wasn't a private retreat. It was a surveillance hub. Hidden cameras, secret rooms, high-profile guests, and leverage. Politicians, bankers, tech moguls, all within reach, all on camera. The idea was simple. Give them what they want, record everything, and keep the tape. What do you get when you control people with secrets? Control of policy, control of nations, control of war. And if you look at the timeline, something strange happens. As Epstein's power grows, so does US loyalty to Israel. No matter the administration, the aid, weapons, and political protection never stop flowing. Coincidence? Or was someone making sure loyalty was bought and paid for? Israel's shield, Iran's target. Every war needs a villain, and for the West, that villain has long been Iran. Why? Iran threatens Israel's dominance in the region. It supports enemies like Hezbollah and Hamas, and it refuses to bow to US control. Epstein's connections, Trump, Clinton, Wexner, all had influence over US policy in the Middle East. All had ties to Israel, and all at one point or another found themselves entangled in Epstein's web. So maybe this wasn't just about sex crimes. Maybe this was about protecting an agenda, using shame and secrets to steer global conflict. Trump, the peace deal, and the puppet show. Trump's deal of the century was sold as peace, but in reality, it served one purpose: cementing Israel's control and isolating Iran further. Trump and Epstein were close, too close. Photos, parties, flights, and while Trump distanced himself publicly, the connections ran deep. Surrounding Trump were figures tied to Israel, Mossad, and high-level intelligence. And when Epstein's house of cards collapsed, those same circles went silent. Because maybe Epstein wasn't a rogue actor. Maybe he was a bridge between elite power and geopolitical control. And maybe the real peace plan was never about peace. It was about silencing opposition and protecting the machine. The death nobody believes. Now here's where it gets darker. The official story: Epstein committed suicide in a high-security prison under 24/7 surveillance. 2 cameras malfunctioned. 2 guards fell asleep. His cellmate was transferred. Right. Even people who trusted the system called bullshit. But here's the thing. If Epstein was an intelligence asset, they wouldn't let him rot. They'd extract him. That's how deep state operations work. When a tool becomes too dangerous in public, they remove it from the board. New identity, new face, new mission. And when you look at the timing, the silence, the sealed files, and the lack of real investigation, it starts to make sense. He didn't die, he was relocated. Because Epstein didn't just have dirt on the rich, he had dirt on the architects of war. And if any of it leaked, the entire house would come down. So the powers that made be sure he disappeared. And if that's true, he's not just a ghost. He's still pulling strings behind the curtain. The war between Israel and Iran isn't just about religion or oil. It's about control, of perception, of policy, and of power. And the Epstein web, it may have been one of the tools used to build it. Thanks for watching. If you made it this far, hit like, subscribe, and drop a comment, because the truth needs soldiers willing to question everything. Remember, you're either the lion or the sheep.